So I'd like to make a few comments on this process of bringing rain, which is really bringing a full mindful attention to difficult, stuck place. And one is really what I think of as the alchemy of self-compassion, which is that to the degree that we bring this recognizing and allowing and investigating to where the tangle is, and really touch the place I call the ouch place, really bring awareness to that, there is a natural tenderness and compassion that arises. So if somebody wants to shift from being at war with themselves to kindly towards themselves, the pathway is through paying attention and investigating, because gradually what happens is what's there unlayers itself. And for this woman that I described, the unlayering, the moment that was really dramatic was when I asked the question, how long have you been experiencing this? But it might be there's many, many routes. But the bottom line is when we get in touch with the purity of the suffering, and by that I mean without the layering of, well, other people feel this too, or, well, I deserve to feel this, or any caveat, when it's just the purity of, ouch, this hurts. In the moment of, ouch, there's kindness. And then we can deepen the kindness by offering a message of care. Okay, so that's the alchemy. I sometimes consider it a kind of, when we really get in touch with that ouch place, what comes up is a kind of soul sadness, where we sense our incarnation, and it's as if we're just this awareness that's getting this life form that's having a hard time. And so there's a sense of just a kind of a generic sadness that just is tender towards that. Pasha Joyce Gertler writes, finally on my way to yes, I bump into all the places where I said no to my life, all the untended wounds. She says, I lift them one by one close to my heart, and I say, holy, holy. So there's a sense that we begin to touch what's there and bit by bit respond with that kind of a tenderness. Now, just to say that for many people that I've worked with, the notion of put your hand on your heart and offer kindness is the most foreign thing in the world. It's diametrically opposed to what their relationship with themselves is like. And often I'll have people, when they're not in a reactive place, and you can try this now, just to close your eyes and put your hand on your heart. And as you do, vary the pressure a little bit so that the pressure itself is communicating a gentle kind of presence. And notice what it's like just for a few moments. And this is that message of, all I ask of you is this, make love of yourself perfect. Just the possibility of regarding this life right here, this aliveness right here, with a quality of caring presence. For some people, it's a little bit of a homecoming, a sense of, oh, okay, it's possible to soften a little. And there's a sense of that. For other people, it feels, again, so alien that it becomes important to find a stepping stone towards that relationship. And so often in therapy, what I'll do is have a person bring to mind someone that regards them, that they trust, that regards them with care, with understanding. And it can be a person that they know, a friend or grandmother or sister or brother. It might be someone that they don't know personally, but they sense as a being of compassion and wisdom. It could also be an archetypal spiritual figure, Buddha, or Kuan Yin, Jesus. And so what I'll have them do is to put their hand on their heart, but imagine and sense that that being is looking on them with eyes of understanding and care, and that their energy is moving through this hand into that person's heart. So this is, again, in this process of rain, of bringing a wholehearted and kind attention to our own being, we have to find the pathways in. And the beginning is to recognize and allow what's right here, then to begin to investigate with an intimate quality of attention, and that might mean including looking through the eyes of and sensing with the heart of another. There's a Indian teacher, Deepa Ma, who's no longer alive. She reached her pinnacle of spiritual realization. She started in, I think, her late 60s, and somewhere in her 70s, she really blossomed. And a woman is a little under 5 foot tall. And she would teach in these enormous gymnasiums. And she had many, many people that followed her. And she'd go around the room, and if she sensed somebody struggling, she'd put her hand on their shoulder, just kind of put that hand there, in some way say, it's okay. Not like everything's going to be okay, but in some fundamental way, it's okay. And I remember hearing that story early on in my practice, and I was at one retreat in particular where I was feeling a lot of confusion and grief, and I remember sensing her hand on my shoulder. I just imagine it, invent it, and hearing that whisper. And then gradually through the retreat, it was, I realized that it was my own presence that I was really calling on. But that stepping stone was really, really valuable, just to sense another, because at the time, in the moments when I was caught, I was feeling down on myself. So it was like I couldn't imagine doing it to myself. But it tapped me into my own kindness by imagining her. So again, the completion of this really is when we sense the kindness, when we sense the full presence, there's a dissolving of the identification with a small self. That when I could feel that hand and when I could sense my own caring presence, I opened to be that caring presence. I was no longer exclusively caught in a set of waves.